Some of the challenges that can come up when you don't identify initially is that there are no boundaries. Immediately identifying roles has been helpful because it allows for other folks and for yourself to know what the boundaries are related to what your capacity is. I'm a part of a peer support group, and one of the things that we do is trade off on what our responsibilities are for each meeting. So we took the time to determine and identify what are the different aspects to facilitate a meeting, right? So there's someone that needs to do the coordinating, so send the calendar invites. There's someone that needs to take the notes during the meeting. And then we have a vibe checker. There's someone who checks in with folks in case, there may be some difficult things coming up. And just to make sure, even if someone isn't participating that much in the meeting, that they at least have, some type of connection with someone. Not identifying what the roles are within that collective can look a few different ways. And so what does that look like? Folks are being asked to do things that maybe they hadn't intended to. Some people are being put in positions to not be able to say no. And so when I saw this on Instagram, I thought that this was a really cool example of the way to think about not only mapping our roles in a social change ecosystem, but what does that actually look like in everyday practice? And so when thinking about, mapping our roles in a social change ecosystem, I think one of the things that's missing from the conversation and what I mentioned is being able to take the time to actually do that. So we wouldn't have been able to assign those particular roles for a meeting if we hadn't thought about what does it take to actually facilitate a meeting. The other thing too is, usually when someone organizes a meeting or it's their opportunity to facilitate, with facilitation, you usually do all of that, right? You facilitate, you send out the notes, you take the notes, so on and so forth. But with this other way of thinking about it, we broke those into different roles so that it wouldn't be so overwhelming. So this question at the bottom is, what do I need to do to make changes towards a more just and liberated world? But where do I start? And it is actually to slow down and look at what you are attempting to do with other people in communities, in collectives, and look at the ways that you can, look at your roles and divide up responsibilities.